I'm James Bongard. I'm the owner, manager of We Buy Music in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We sell records, vinyl records and 7-inch 45s. Books, we have a nice little book section, movies, and cassettes. We still have cassettes and CDs. So it's music, movies, and books, and I've been doing it for about 30 years. I graduated from Berkeley, and I was working at another store, and I was thinking about either going to grad school, or actually I was accepted at grad school that summer. And I'd been selling records at the Ashby Flea Market in Berkeley, which it's at the Ashby BART station in Berkeley. And I've been doing it with a girlfriend who worked at Buffalo, and she had vintage clothing, and I had the music, and we'd get a booth, 2 parking stalls next to each other. I've been doing that. Anyway, I just was walking around the corner with my coffee, and I saw a vacant spot, and the wheels started spinning, and I got my first little spot, very, very small. That was actually in '85, but I'd already been selling at the flea market.
Right. Okay.
So it's closing in on 30 years. And I remember I could choose, when I was thinking about what to sell, I could choose almost anything that looked interesting. Music from some other country, or like a blues guy that the general public wouldn't know about. Almost anything I could choose. And someone would go, wow, I didn't think I'd see this in this little store. That happens so often. And I learned a lot of stuff. I mean, I got to be friendly with a lot of people, and I guess there's things I could pass on to other people. There's things that they would say, and oh, I didn't know that, tell me more. And one thing I really used to enjoy is talking to old timers about the blues clubs in Oakland. And I think most people maybe didn't even ask these guys follow-up questions or whatever, but this just fascinated the hell out of me, that they could tell me about the time they saw Jimmy Reed or Howlin' Wolf or whatever for I don't know what I don't remember, but it was either free or one drink or $1 cover, or and the places are so small that the guy would bump into them as they walked back to the bathroom that might have been the dressing room or something. And I think these guys, I can remember them feeling appreciated by me asking, but it was nothing. It was nothing for any reasons besides I was really interested.
Right.
And yeah, that was a big part of the blues history.
Right.
I mean, guys that went, this is in the 80s, so guys that went back 30 years or something, that were older at the time, it's a different perspective on the history of music.
Right.
It was very, very cool.
Yeah.
What do you call them? Hole in the walls.
Hole in the wall.
Right? That probably didn't seat 100 people, and you'd see these legendary blues guys.
Right.
And they showed up drunk or whatever. I mean, people still talk about it.
Right. Wow.
And yeah, it's the Bay Area. The real estate is Eli's Mile High was there in the 80s. It's a blues club. Another one, I can't think of the name right now, but they still had blues clubs. The Eli's Mile High was kind of close to Berkeley. What was cool about that is it was real small. It was like in an old house, and they had knocked down some rooms and they made it into a club. And because it was small, they had like rows of seats, but like at the ball game, not enough room for a table.
Right.
A row of seats, and if you got something to eat or whatever, you just had to have it.
It was like a church pew.
Yeah, like that. And so when the waitress came over, you'd be passing along the cheese fries or whatever. But the cool thing about that is that somebody back there needed a light, and you just got to know each other because you had blues in common. You all had blues in common. I went there before the store too. I sell this stuff at my store. You'd have to go all the way to Berkeley, but I'm a blues fan, if you want to. And so got to be friendly with some of those guys just sitting around because we passed each other's plates and stuff.
Right. Wow.
What's nicer than that? I always have loved music, although I never learned how to play. I wished I would have learned piano maybe, or what I call fiddle, other people call violin. And I know music that I like, but I'm not so knowledgeable about it that I could tell you the sharp from the flat, or how the bass player and the drummer are playing a little behind the beat, or I guess I can hear it, but I can't really tell the technique like a schooled person could. But I notice, I mean, I know I like it. I remember in high school, felt like a, what do you call it, lone wolf. I liked music I didn't have anybody to talk to about, like the jazz I liked, or I remember I liked bluegrass from the first time I heard it. And at the high school I went to, not even my girlfriend wanted to hear about it. You know, it was all, I had to kind of do it on my own, you know, and you know, back in those days, it was, you know, obviously before the internet, it was harder to learn more about music. You read the back of album covers and maybe subscribed to magazines, or you know, got into an occasional conversation at the music store or something like that. But it wasn't as anywhere near as immediate. We used to have to spend, like if we would have wanted to learn that, like half a day at the library, right? Going back and forth, and now it's like 30 seconds maybe.
Right on your phone.
So that, you know, that just continued. No, they had this one Ray Charles album on accident, which I loved. It was probably my favorite album. It was called Modern Sounds in Country Western Music. It had Born to Lose, and it was magnificent. Yeah. Still is. Right. Yeah, they had that one, and mostly it was, I kind of hate to say what they had. It was like Don Ho and the Mills Brothers and Dean Martin, and just stuff that drives me crazy to this day. And then I started being interested in different stuff, and you know, if you saved up, you could get your own music. Wallach's Music City, I think they had one. Oh, Pasadena and San Marino and Alhambra. These are the schools we played in sports and stuff like that. So I guess the biggest close by city was Pasadena. The main things I have that mean the most to me don't have anything to do with the product. It's the people I've met. And this, you know, you get to be friends with people because you have music in common, and then you find out you have sports in common, or reading, or you know, whatever other thing, and you start doing things outside the store, and friends I've had for a really long time. That's a lucky thing. That's all based in music. If we love music, it's something we'll always have. And then, you know, there's fun stuff like. I mean, my store is still small enough that I have this little thing that sometimes happens, which is when I sell something to the perfect person, you know, meaning that I never thought I'd see this, they only heard about or whatever, and I remember that, you know, how cool, and usually it's something that's, you know, they'll be the only one in their row with that piece, you know. But, you know, maybe they'll show it to friends, and the friends will go, so what? But to them, it's a big thing, and that's a lot of fun. You know, matching people up with the over and above normal sales. You know, that's something that sticks with me. I've tried to learn, you know, 2013, I've tried to learn how to adjust to the way the world is today. It's really part of my nature anymore, at least business-wise, to be interested. I guess that's maybe stretching it a little bit, but in every kind of music that people might ask about. If someone's asking about someone that you don't personally care about, but you happen to know, some like the music of Billy Joel or something like that. I know some of his songs, but not nearly as much as a fan would. But you know, I never say that to people. It's what they like. So I kind of think that even though I don't know him very well, if they like him, they might also like this, and this. You know, and I can help people that way. Tried to learn things about stuff that's not necessarily my kind of music. I think that's a big part of continued success, because every time you do that, it's an expanded customer base. They probably don't know what my opinion is, except for they must realize if they come in here a lot, then I never play that kind of stuff. You know, I'm blues and jazz and bluegrass and music from Africa, and I never know what I'll hear when I come in. I had a friend the other day, I was playing something different for me, which was like a girl group compilation, hits from the 60s, like I think Skeeter Davis and Leslie Gore, hits by them. Really a departure for me, but I got this one CD in and I thought it'd be fun to listen to, and I'm playing that. And this guy who's a big jazz fan, he hears this, and I never thought I'd hear that, you know. I do have an online business. It's the same name as I use here, We Buy Music, and I'm on Amazon and Discogs and eBay sometimes. I've got maybe a couple thousand things there. It's the more unusual, and honestly, they're all, well, maybe not all, but they're on the higher end of the prices that I have here. And a lot of them, there's that fine line between, it's really, when did I ever see this before, and who even cares, you know, but there's always somebody. The only way you're going to be able to get it is to find a record, if you even can, you know. And I don't know, I've been aware of collectible records for probably close to 40 years, something like that. But it's become a different animal with the internet. That like one of these records I just sold, the person's in England. But you know, those of us who do that, we ship them all over the world. The digital versus analog thing. I know with a nice system, the music on a vinyl record sounds much broader, warmer, brighter in every way. Now maybe as the years go by, they'll make those MP3s better and better and better, and they might approach that. But as of right now, it kind of sounds like listening to a radio to me. And sometimes worse. I mean, sometimes when people come in and they've got the song in their head that they want me to help them find, and they've got it on that thing, and I'm listening, and I can't. I'm telling you, sometimes is that a man or a woman singing? That's that bad, and it hurts. It hurts me to think that they don't know any better. Right. That's what they call entertainment. Right. It's like what we used to call a bad transistor radio. Now I'm thinking this is somebody with a $39 MP3. Right. But even the nicer ones don't sound nearly as nice as a nice system. I think anybody who looked at it objectively and did a listening test would tell that like that. I've always loved free jazz. The first record, I remember the day I decided I was going to buy a jazz record. I just got it in my head I was going to buy a jazz record. And I remember I went to the music store, and some guy in a skinny tie walked up and asked me, you know, what could I help you with, young man? And I thought, no, I'm just going to be on my own. And I didn't know what I was looking for. I ended up, luckily for me, with an Ornette Coleman album. And they weren't smiling or anything on the cover. They just looked like they could play jazz. And I didn't even know what kind of jazz they were, but it was like off to the left. It was the kind of jazz that stuck with me all my life. And that was like a lucky little, I don't know what. The album cover made me choose that one instead of anything else. And I think next time I could afford one, I went back and got another Ornette Coleman one. And I still love that kind of music. I know it's not for everybody, and I suppose it sounds like noise to some people, but I just love the way they play and the creativity that goes into it. So, like in the background, we've got a Coltrane album going, but Cecil Taylor and Anthony Braxton, and there's hundreds of them, really. And they're all geniuses, I think. Salsa I've always liked. I think since before they called it salsa. I can remember back in the early 70s, there was like a debate about that's too much of a generic term. Now I know that all the famous players accept it, but I remember at the time it was a controversial topic. Should we call all of our music salsa? Because there's music that's close to it, like merengue and son and other kinds of music that I guess now we put it in that category / subcategory. I just got to see Eddie Palmieri about a month ago in Santa Fe, the New Mexico Jazz Festival, and he calls it salsa. And who's more famous than him? Yeah, so thanks for watching, and come on down and visit. Say hello, tell me you saw this video. It's 5203 Lomas, northeast in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we're 1 block west of San Mateo. Lomas and San Mateo are 2 big streets around here. Thanks.
Cool. All right.